Okay, it's recording.
Ready? Okay, welcome to our first class of ROI University. It's going to be on Scribe cuts, Grommets, and scene cutouts. Everybody's given a packet, and this is your summer course packet. There's 8 courses this semester. So as you open it, you'll see all your courses. As you know, today we punched you if you're here. If you make all 8 courses, you will get a reward of a t-shirt. If 90% of ROI who's taken this class makes all 8 courses, we're going to have a big barbecue party at the end of summer. So the goal is for 90% of everybody to come to the class. So, as you see, Laura is videotaping us today. She'll be videotaping everything. So if you guys can't make a course, we'll post it the next day and we'll let you know where you can watch it, where you can see all of these. However, if you don't make a course, there will be a short quiz at the end of every video just to make sure you watch it. And then there'll be more details to come on the videos after this class. Are we good? Are you ready?
Yes, and keep in mind that the way that Ulysses is going to do this, it might be a little bit different than other guys do, but at the end it's kind of like the same thing. So let's go, Ulysses. It's your show.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to start with the Scribe cutout.
So we have practices, so everybody knows. So this is gonna be our cutout. This and that. I go back.
So this post right here is a typical post that we face out in the field. This pipe right here is not usual, but once in a while we'll also face that. So we will do a cutout here and cutout here. Alright? And then you guys can ask any questions. But not yet. Tools that are required to do this cutout is a jigsaw, blue tape, clamps, and a file. And a good installer.
So first we clamp it, so it doesn't move while you're cutting it. And then actually we're just gonna do this estimate. So table 48 maybe. So we're just gonna split the difference on this one. So we're gonna do 7 3/4.
In this case, I will go 8. When you try to be perfect, that's when you can make it. If you go 8, it's an extra inch of a gap, which is totally acceptable.
Okay, so, wait, can I ask a question? So, you measure 7 3/4, but you're saying you measure 8.
Correct.
So that there's like,
And make it better. You need some play in order to get it
so that's pretty much our tolerance all the time. So we measure that all the time.
an inch to 3/16. A quarter might be acceptable, but you start getting a large gap that some customers will not accept. So an 8 to 3/16 is tolerated.
Alright, so first you do your first marks, and then basically you put blue tape all over those marks. Most jigsaws will.
How did you decide where you're going to make your mark? Like from the edge?
Oh, I said where we're gonna do center.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have a rubber.
Okay.
And the purpose of the tape is, so when you go with the jigsaw, you don't chip the noise. It helps a lot.
You don't chip it, and some of our tools will have like a metal underneath that they might have scratched the surface. I'm gonna do more on this side because of the other.
One thing that we will do out in the field is to use the back, the chat bag. While he's cutting, somebody's holding it, so it's no dust out there. It will be dust, but minimal. And here we're not going to do it, just want to make sure you guys get some dust, so it looks like you guys did something. No, we're okay. And we're going fast.
Yeah.
The reason we're going fast is because we decided to go center.
Right.
If we had to measure from like the other wall to the column or some
What
other
would you
item.
say on average, how long would it take to scribe that?
About an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus we kind of visualize what we're dealing with
Right.
since yesterday. So.
How's camera girl doing?
Perfect.
Good.
Okay, so now we have the blue tape. Now we're gonna do the right measurement. Right. So then you use a knife afterwards, because then most of the blades are dull, and you have to change your blade every time if you want to do a right cutout, but that's going to cost a little more. So we use a blade to go over the line a couple times. So that saves us a lot of money in blades because those are expensive.
Not a big can for the blades, but in this case, we'll just show it that way.
So do we have these kind of tables on every truck that we have set up?
They have the stands, which is the same thing. It's actually better than the table because you can work in the middle. You can cut.
Like sawhorses?
Yeah. So as you can see, whenever we do an install and we face something like this that wasn't noticed on the paperwork or that it come up after the fact, that's where we talk about it a lot. When you say, well, we're going to go there anyway, let's just do it. It's not let's just do it, it takes a lot. Well, since we didn't deliver the Senate, we're just going to do it now.
Now we see how long it takes.
Okay, so after that,
So he's going to do the first cutout first, and then he will measure the pipe, and then he will do the second one. And the first thing that he's going to do is he's going to drill with the drill bit right on the corner. So so when he comes around, he doesn't pass the line.
because it's hard to turn the jigsaw as you're going. Right?
That's where the chap back takes place. But in this case, we're going to reach up to work out.
Wow.
Where do you usually have this station set up? Is it in the office?
It
No,
depends,
yeah.
for most part, it's on the warehouses, or if the customer is one of our customers, then we'll take it on the truck. So it depends.
You ready? We paused for a little bit. I do want to clarify, I don't know if you guys noticed, we have this whole course packet on the inside, kind of giving a description of what this is. And we gave some brief prices so that if you are in the field and somebody says, hey, cut a grommet for me or cut a scribe cut, it's a breakdown of the pricing for you. But keep in mind, when it says scribe cut, that's per cut. So this was 3 cuts.
I was gonna say, that seemed cheap.
Yeah, so
for you.
just keep that in mind when you're doing it. That was 3 cuts right there, so that was $120 for that.
It'll be one more when we do the pipe, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh.
All right, now that we have this cut out, now we can measure for the pipe. That's why we did the pipe second, because if you measure from here to here, and then you actually cut like an 1/8 over or a 1/4 inch over, then you're in trouble.
You put it up first to make sure that that's cut.
No, we got confidence.
I feel like it should be put up there first. Just to make sure.
What are we learning?
We'll go with your confidence.
You know,
There's a, what's under there?
you know, that's why we
It's
give
like
the
a block on
eight.
pipe. I'm sure. All the confidence.
Don't let me down, you listen.
The pressure is on. In the field, is that, we wouldn't take it back and check it?
And also keep in mind, whenever we do this kind of cutouts out on field, or when it's something wall to wall, for sure the wall will be damaged. Okay, so you guys need to communicate that with the customer, because it's impossible not to touch the wall. When you imagine putting this in, you know, it's not just like it's gonna go completely perfect. And any touch to the wall with these edges, it's gonna damage it. That's why we come out with backsplashes or just let the customer know that they have to do some coach on after the fact. Now, since this is a pipe, there are ways to do it to where the surface is kind of rounded and straight. We're not going to do that. We're trying to be perfect. That's what always get us in trouble. So, and I know that certain people request that way. If we bring 2 surfaces, then we can try it. But it's very tricky and not a smart thing for us to do. So just keep that in mind.
Is there any like moldable, bendable piece, like if you were going to go around the pipe that you could like, almost like a T-mold, that you could fill in if you were going straight and there was, you know, a gap? Have you ever done that?
Not really. Yeah. Good. seeing here is the imperfections of the wall, how uneven it's going to be in certain areas. So these jigsaw, sometimes the hard plastic, if you drop it or you hit it with something, it'll have like a little gouge, and when you try to use it on a smooth surface, then you scratch this, so that's the purpose of the tape.
So when we know that there's going to be a scribe, is that added in the price or is it just a product?
It's usually in the office cost.
The only time that you have to charge more is when we don't have the money, so you go out and use us for the price. Give us a
Is that giving it a clean edge?
Yeah, it's gonna look a lot.
Do they ever edge man the inside?
It'll be like 3 hours of labor. We can. If we're willing to pay. But since it's gonna be against the volume, we're gonna do it. And in order to do the edge bending on the inside, these corners have to be completely perfect at 90 degrees. I'm just going to do some acetone to clean that out. The extra marker, but sometimes they left up there.
If you overclam, could you end up putting a dimple in the surface?
I'm sorry?
If you overclam, could you put a dimple in the surface?
Normally they put a piece of cardboard, and that's why they put this taping here. That matter. We didn't really care much on this one because we know it's just scrap. Yeah, they do.
With the,
Clean in the extra marker.
oh,
We use the raw one.
so what is it, just a paint thinner?
Yeah.
You're supposed to use acetone.
Acetone.
Because the paint thinner sometimes doesn't take it out, like in this case.
So that's always a good point when clients say, hey, how do I clean this stuff? You can say, our guys use acetone. You can use whatever you want to clean this material, we won't hurt it.
And it smells good.
It's like nail polish.
All right, one of the two, if it doesn't fit, so.
Then you should tell you all out.
Yeah.
No, we're out.
If it doesn't fit, we'll act like it does.
one thing that I was talking about is the imperfections of it. Well, like in here it's touching, back here is not. It's like a quarter of an inch difference. And in those areas, nothing that we can do. We can go crazy with keep doing the scratch and try to make it perfect, but it's just not, it's totally acceptable the way they do it. Make sense?
Good job.
Very good.
And if there is a mistake, it's a new surface. So that's why it's so risky to do a,
That's the main reason to why we have to charge is because any mistakes, now you're remaking the work surface in case of that.
What percentage of the time is there a mistake?
We got a perfect 95% of the time. Yeah.
When you listen.
Alright, now I'm gonna do,
Now we want to do, what are we going to do, grommet?
yeah,
We're going to do a grommet hole.
oh my God, why don't you just throw a grommet in there? I know it wasn't on the drawing, but just put it in there. It's no big deal, right?
No problem, we'll do it at no charge if you give us an add-on order for like another 10,000.
It's no big deal. Just throw it in.
okay, so you ask your customer where is he gonna want it, then he's like, oh, I don't know.
Like in this case, I'm the customer, I would like to have it right here. Don't go too close to the wall, please. I want to make sure that it's close to the front.
Okay, no, typically, we have to stand back. Our center of a hole has to be 4 inches and forward. If you go back, then you're dealing, if there's a support in the back, and then you shoot.
Right, because you're going to be hitting the support.
That's why if they ask you, oh, I want it all the way to the back, you give them that option, you can't.
Grommets are standard in every surface?
I'm sorry?
Are grommets standard in every surface?
No,
No.
you have to call for it. Or
No, in an office, we always put one in the main, the bridge, and the credenza. In a workstation, we put one in every surface. Unless, and then sometimes if they request it, you might have a client that wants 2 in a credenza,
Right.
but we try to know that ahead of time.
It all depends on where the customer wants to see the location of the computer, where they like to have the grommet closer, where that's where we end up doing extra grommets on the field.
So, take your pilot, the pilot bit. Kind of make an indentation.
That's a look at the kind of board. So, he also,
Do you tape the grommet like you tape the other stuff?
No.
No,
I don't need
because
for it.
you got a 1/4 inch covered with your,
That and also, that's the purpose of this starter point. It's not gonna go anywhere.
yeah, plus you can't see it because it covers it. Sure.
So I want to show you what the purpose of this vacuum is. We're gonna use it a little bit. See how big of a mess doing a grommet on the field creates? Turn that on. Minimize the dust by at least 50%, so it's always good to carry it.
How much pressure are you putting on that? Are you like really
A lot.
pushing on it?
Yeah.
This one you have to have like a strong arm. This can break your arm if you're not strong enough. You can, if this thing gets stuck, it'll do this, or like not recommend for sales people to do this. I'm not saying you guys can do it, but you can hurt yourself.
Oh yeah, the first time I had to do one, the drill went all the way across.
Yeah,
Hey Miguel, how much is the drill bit?
About $35,
And how many holes do you get out of each drill bit?
about 5 to 10.
Yeah, because that's a good drill bit.
Yeah.
The fifth time you drill that hole, it doesn't go through like that.
No, and then you run into the problem where you smoke their office.
Were you what?
You fire in a hole.
Yeah. Smoke start coming out because the dip
After
is
like
dull.
the 5th hole or 6th hole, then you smoke their office.
You're supposed to replace it,
Is it standard to bring the vacuum when you know you're doing
Yes.
grommets? Okay.
especially outside in the field. Yes.
What's so hard on the bit? Is it the surface material or the end?
It's the composite inside the.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Because
of
it's not
glue.
like
There's a lot of
going,
glue in it.
you're not going just against the thickness of it, it's the whole circle.
Uh-huh.
It's like going 10 times straight, like with the jigsaw. Alright, so we got the second one done. Now we're gonna go to do a sink cutout, okay? Sink cutouts can be trickier, or sometimes are a lot easier than doing a cutout like the one on the column. It all depends on the conditions and what type of cutout they want to do. And some sinks have very little tolerance for the cutout to be imperfect. And some sinks have a lot more of tolerance, like almost like an inch, that you can just go a little bit faster and all that. So, where's the? Any questions so far? No? Good.
So would an undermount sink have less tolerance than
I'm sorry?
an undermount sink? Would that have a least?
That
The other one thing we don't use,
We don't do it.
it's only granite because it is stone, because the water is
Okay, so we're gonna improvise and use this.
Where's the?
So just to go back to like material, we don't use catapults and things, right?
No,
Only
it
a
has to be
piece.
laminate, yeah.
Okay.
We don't even recommend it on the league. We don't recommend our work surfaces for sinks at all.
It should be stone.
Stone or
random.
solid surface.
Especially if there's a dishwasher, using Steve.
There are a lot of things that can go wrong with it, and that's why we don't work with them.
Well, we do, don't we have a 1-year warranty for these with the sink?
I think we have the 1-year warranty, but don't open the faucet.
We just don't use it.
But don't use any water.
Right. Just a wet towel, but no water. Like in this scenario, we will not have the sink to put it in, but it'll give you the idea.
Talk about tolerances for the sink. Is that one of the things you expect salespeople to tell you?
No, you just need a sink spec.
The spec will say all of that.
And you'll notice in your notes too, it says that the sink has to be there the day of the install. Then that way, if it's not there, then there's no point.
The reason why is because, let's say, a lot of specs have different lines to do the cutout. If we are going to cut it here, we will cut it to the narrow one, so we don't cut a bigger hole that the sink is. And so when we go out of the field, if the sink is there, we can test it. If it isn't, then we will just leave it alone, and 2 weeks later or next day, the plumber will call pissed off because the cutout is done in the front, it's done right hole.
And they're not cutting for the plumbing, they're only cutting that hole for the sink, all those little
We
dots.
never cut for the faucet.
plumber
It's
does
just, yeah, because we don't know it's a whole different animal if you want to get into that.
How often are you doing laminate sink cutouts?
There's not a ton, most people go with Corian or quartz, but there's like a handful here and there that.
Maybe once a month,
Okay.
I will say. Yep. It's fair to say that approximately everything have about a ½ inch to a 3/4 tolerance. Meaning that it's got a lid that is going to cover the whole, if it is got a little bit too big. Some of them can have up to 1.25 inches. Some of them can have up to 3/8 only. That's where it gets tricky. Any questions? Are you enjoying it, Karen?
I am.
Great.
He does it to me.
So next time, you call me and ask me like, we're doing a cutout here. How long is it going to take to do the cutout?
Now
Now
you
you
know.
And now I'm gonna know.
And that's the purpose of you being here.
Thank you.
I should look at all the stuff.
Right.
I'm going to change the subject just briefly, but I wanted to let you guys know that Lauren and I don't know where Lauren is, email us if you have any ideas for like courses or classes that you would like to take or like to be included. We have right now, I think, a list of, besides the 8 on yours, I think we have a list of like 24 classes that we have coming up. So I know everybody, I keep getting ideas and it's great, and it's, you can see just like a little class, like we're trying to keep everything to like an hour is our goal.
Right.
It'll be every other Thursday at 9 a.m. around the huddle meeting time. It's like our goal forever.
And this will be an ongoing thing. It's not like when we complete the 24 things, we're done. Once we do the 24 things, it'll be another 50 that'll arise that we have to get trained on.
So where did you get the template?
I found it online.
Okay, so my question is that something that you'll always be able to find, or?
All sinks come with that inside of it.
Oh, okay.
Well, most don't.
Most don't. I thought inside they had the little, no?
So if you know the specs, if the customer says, okay, well, this is the size sink we want, or this is the sink that we want, you can go online and find it.
Yes.
And then, who made that?
I just found it online.
So you
Print
just.
it.
I just printed it. But this is just for an example. This is not to scale or anything. This is, I wanted to give a reference for a sink.
So what do you do? They would have to have the sink on site.
Okay, but here's my question. Normally though, if we know all the specs beforehand, so we cut it here though, we
Yes.
program it in.
Correct.
Cut it here, and then we bring it out, and then you test it because the sink's on site.
Correct.
So, are we ever gonna do a sink where we don't cut it here? Like,
Yes.
yes, that
That
happens?
happens, yeah.
Does that happen more often than not, you say?
Ulysses, you
No.
see that.
We normally want to do it here.
Okay.
I will say 50-50 is in the case, and the reason why, for the most part, in a perfect world, it's better to do it on site for many reasons. One of them is that sometimes plumbing locations change, and then if you already have your cutout on the work surface, now you're remaking the whole surface if you move to a different area. That's the main reason why it makes sense to do it on site. But 90+% of the times that we have to do it on site, there's nothing there to reference.
So there's no template? There's
No
sink?
template, no sink, nobody even to give any direction of where it's going or what type of sink it is. That's why we push it and force it that we have to have the specs. Make sense?
And if they're replacing just their countertops and they've got an existing sink, then we're just flipping it over and making a template, or?
That will never happen. I mean, if you're replacing the countertop, you're replacing the sink.
So if you do it on site, and you're saying that most of the sinks don't have a template, then how do
You
you?
measure.
That's why we asked for the sink to be there, because we can take the actual measurement, hard measurement off the sink.
So you just kind of,
You just measure it.
And
Oh.
most of the sinks that we deal with have brackets on the all four sides. And those brackets are never aligned. So we gotta measure off those brackets regardless. Even the templates that they send us, that's why I'm saying that most of the templates don't work. That's why the PDF they send us works better. Because it's a flimsy paper and it works.
But a lot of times, it's 95+% of the times that it's perfect to where we do the cutout here and we use the slightly have to make adjustments on there. That's why the sink is important to be there at the time of the install. Because if it is imperfect and the sink isn't there, now somebody else has to deal with it. Or you get the phone call, the cutouts are incorrect. And then I have Ricardo, whomever, working on a job that he has to go to the other job because he's got to make some adjustments because the plumber is not willing to do it. That's why the more information we have, the less problems.
Others just don't have.
Right.
We shouldn't even do this.
You got 10 minutes to wrap this up, Julissa.
All right.
You got it.
And that happens too. You're out of the field and we gotta complete the job by 5 p.m. because the sun gas goes, so hurry up, 10 minutes. You need another guy, let me know. You need my brother to bring the
new circuit.
These drills is just in case you can't make the turn, so you can rest your blade as it gets to this.
This is very common to break your blade on the turn. Because the jigsaw cut is straight, and then you can bend it a little bit, but if you go too crazy with it, then. And then if you only have one that day, and you break it, you're in trouble.
Like I said, a packet of jigsaw blades is $95 for 4.
And they don't last long.
That's why the prices go up.
Any questions?
You gonna use a jigsaw or a router?
Jigsaw. You cannot use router like that.
No?
None of what we did, you can use a router. The only time you use a router is when you are going to do like wall-to-wall or a little bit of an angle to an angle. You do the jigsaw first, and then you shave it off with the router. That's the only time you use the router, just to make a straight, fine line. Like in this case, it's not meeting any surfaces, so any rough edge is fine. But if you're meeting two surfaces, then that's where the router takes place, make a fine cut. There you have it. And this cut, it doesn't matter if it is ugly or not because it's covered.
So Miguel, if we were to go walk over to the CNC, because these would have been programmed, the grommet hole or that sink cutout, we would have been having lunch already, right? Because that's about a 30-second process to watch the CNC cut a hole,
The
right?
CNC will do the hole in that cutout in less than a minute. This, 30 seconds. So that's the big difference. That's why it's so important that we get a lot of information from you guys on the front end, so we don't have to do this on the field.
And for the salespeople, you know, when you just said that's is that $180 cut that we just experienced right here? Because, you know, it's a carpenter that's driving a $150 jigsaw and is using a $65 hole bit on a $150 drill, you know, so it all adds up, and that's why when a client says, well, how come it's so much? You know, we have those references behind us to know it's not just the guy standing there. It's the equipment, it's the tools.
Well, can we back up though, because I definitely understand what we're talking about here with this sink. But it's been my experience that when I measure like a column or whatever in the field, we just put on their scribe cut in the field. So we're not programming those scribe cuts here.
It all depends on the situation of where exactly.
But we are charging for them.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, they are being charged for it.
So I would think though that we have another issue, and that's called field measuring.
Right. That's
So,
all different.
if it's not field measured properly, that's gonna be totally messed up anyway. So that's why it's better just to do it in the field and charge for it, right?
Yeah. Well, more than likely, you're gonna measure your column like this and like that. But the back of the column is probably different than the front of the column. And you don't, usually you just get one measurement, so that's why we charge for the scribe cut, because they're two different.
In this column, it can be the exception because it's cylinder block and it's like for sure square. Drywall,
Most of the time not.
most of the time can be off by 3/4 of an inch sometimes. So that's another reason why we sometimes do it on the field. And what happens a lot is, a lot of the times it's wider on the front and narrow on the back. So you have, let's say it's a ½ inch difference, so now you end up with a gap, a ½ inch gap on the back. And it's nothing that you can do, there is not a scrap cut that you can do to make it work, because if it is wider on the front, how are you gonna get it in? So,
You good? Well, thank you
any
guys.
questions? We're good?
I really appreciate you guys coming. It means a lot to Laura, Lauren, and Miguel and I. We've put a lot of time into this, and we want to keep it going, and we want to keep it positive and keep everybody coming. So please send us your comments, your concerns, something you didn't like, something you liked, just so we know and we can keep improving it.
And I want to thank you, Carrie, Laura, and Lauren, and everybody that showed up, because we have a lot of fun.
And Ulysses.
Grab it on
Yes.
the way out.